Yo, so guys, in this video today, we're just at the crib. Today's video, we're gonna be talking about how I turned my side hustle into a real company. There's a lot of people out there that are in the scaling stages of they're doing a side hustle. And I'm gonna kind of just break down how I went from just doing everything myself to outsourcing almost everything. Now, I still work a lot, but I do have the freedom. I can travel and I can kind of do things on my own schedule. Yeah, let's just get right into it. When I first started my businesses, it was always a one-man show. I was one that was shipping. I was one talking to customers, doing sales, purchasing everything, doing all my own accounting, taxes, literally everything I was doing myself, and learning in the process. And I think that when you first start, you 100% have to do those things. But if you want to scale, like if you want to maybe go from like 3K to like 10K a month in profit, like you're gonna have to hire, I don't like to even use the word team because I feel like it's like cringy, but like you're gonna have to hire people to join the mission and kind of help out. And I really don't recommend hiring like friends because that usually doesn't end well because you have to put like a personal lens over that. And a lot of times in business, like you're gonna have to make tough calls and you don't really wanna sacrifice your friendships over it. So I would always stay away from hiring friends. When you're first starting, it's really easy to just be like, oh, yo, me and my boy, we're gonna run up this business. Like it kind of comes back to bite you later. So I just wouldn't recommend it. You guys have to be almost complete opposites. Like for example, my team, I do all of the marketing. Like my ideas for everything are about like the product and the marketing. But I have my software engineers that they're skilled at software and coding and breaking down the little bits and pieces on how all the tech stuff works. And I have a decent understanding, but I cannot like code. I can kind of code, but I can never create a whole app. Like that's crazy. You're gonna have to partner, but if I just partner with another me, which is usually what happens when you partner with your friends, is that both of you don't know how to code, and then you're gonna have to hire somebody that codes, and then you're just gonna split the profit, and then it just doesn't work. I would say 100%, if you wanna scale to the next level, you're gonna have to hire. What I first did in my first business, right? The first hiring that I ever did was I hired somebody to help ship out my shoes for me because this was a product-based business. This wasn't services. So it was very hands-on, time-intensive, in-person stuff as compared to what I do now. Most of the stuff that I do now is very digital. But for you, if you're just starting or you're looking to start or your skill set is in a hands-on, in-person business, I would say the first thing to do is hire out all the, I guess you could call it like a low-value task. So things where you as the owner don't have to kind of be there. For shipping, I felt like that was a pretty easy transition for me because I already knew it. I was doing it for over 2 years, 3 years by myself. And you can kind of fact check these people and know like, hey, like this guy he said he's gonna take 2 hours to ship out 10 boxes. That's just cap because like, yourself, you could do it in 10 minutes. So that's another thing about hiring is you really want to make sure like you kind of understand the work and what it's valued at. Otherwise, you're just going to get scammed. Like how would you know if you've never done the work yourself? When I first hired, I was just paying, just kids in my school, $15 an hour to come pack up shoes, ship it out, right? And that was kind of my first hiring that I did. The second hiring that I did was more to the purchasing. So I hired a purchasing manager and he basically used my Instagram and all my connections to basically manage the buying process for me. And there's a key point with this as well. You have to set up a very easy to use system so people understand the work you need them to do. Because if you just say, here, go buy a bunch of shoes for me and make me money, people are not gonna know what to do because they've never bought shoes before. You have, right? So you have to be able to set that up so it's super easy for them to come into the business and with basic knowledge of like life, they can figure it out. They don't have to have super extensive skill sets because especially when you're first starting, like you don't want to pay for that because that's expensive. You want cheaper labor, right? Just have to make sure you stay patient with people because if you have like a short temper with employees and you kind of, after 2 weeks you give up on them, I've had problems with that myself where it's just I get super fed up with people because it's just really annoying when you think it's such an easy task, but you realize that they're brand new to this whole thing and you only gave them 2 weeks. So I mean, unless you see a super bad characteristic in somebody, I would say just try and give them at least 2 months or a month and a half or something to kind of see, and maybe if they're really not picking up on it, then like cut it loose. But I would say for sure just, give people time and make sure that you as the business owner are teaching them well, because, if a worker isn't performing, it might also be because you're not performing as a boss, and you also have to take note of that. So yeah, it goes both ways. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing when you're going from a side hustle to a business, is basically hiring workers and kind of setting up systems in place to kind of make it so you can go on vacation for 2 weeks and not really have to worry. You're not stressing, you're not stuck down to a certain location because you're doing it all yourself, because that's when your business, your side hustle turns into just another job. I mean, leverage a lot of software as much as you can, because hiring people and managing people does suck. So, but you're gonna have to do it one way or the other. So I personally prefer keeping like a small workforce of like actual people and having a large workforce of software and automation tools. So like, for example, all of our like customer support goes through an AI first to see if we can solve it. Let's say somebody contacts and says, hey, I'm having a problem with my like software, it's bugging out. We basically we have an AI scan that message, and then it goes through our forums, which I made when we first launched the app. And it basically scans the whole thing, tries to find as much information as possible, and then guide them to it. That way, they might be able to answer their question faster before having to get a real person involved. Over time, I even want the representative that you're speaking to that's onboarding you and doing the sales to be completely AI. As long as you kind of have automated scripts where it's like, if and then, like what we learned in math class, like proofs, even though I hated that stuff, it actually is kind of useful, that part, if then. I actually use that a lot, just kind of like breaking down like problems. I was even talking to my friend today because he was asking about like, oh, he's doing a giveaway for a store, right? He was like, how do I message these people, if they do a giveaway, right? And it's like, they comment on the video. If they comment on the video, then you send them the DM, right? And you could use like tools like ManyChat, right? So that's a great example of utilizing software instead of an employee, because if you have an employee go through all the comments manually and DM all the people on Instagram with like the giveaway instructions, that's a lot of work. But there's literally softwares out there for $20, $30 a month that can do the whole task automated perfectly down to exactly what you want. You set it up one time. You don't have to deal with, managing the person being like, oh, like, did you make sure you did this? Because it's like babysitting kind of, So you want to make sure that whatever can be done by software is being done by software. So, try and cut out those dumb expenses if possible, and just understand what the other options are out there. Another thing I would say when you're trying to scale is agencies versus like in-house employees. I found that for specific things, it makes more sense to hire an agency, and specific things, it makes more sense to hire in-house. I think it also depends on how large of a scale you are. I usually see people that are beginners use agencies, and then they scale up more to where then they can hire their own in-house people. And that's what I've done myself. When I first started my software company, I hired a bunch of agencies to help build it. And then now I have my own in-house employees. So, but agencies can be annoying, because like, for example, I've been looking for people to join my marketing team because it's pretty much just me doing the marketing. So I'm taking my own advice and trying to scale that part of it. Outsourcing some of that stuff. But agencies haven't really been cutting it for me because it's just like, they're super systematic and they're slow, and it's like they don't understand like the trends on social media. It's just annoying. So I'd rather just hire like an in-house employee, but that's also expensive. So it's just very hard to kind of understand on the marketing side because that's more where I'm specialized as compared to software development. But yeah, see, I like struggled from this myself, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs always have a part of their business where it's like, hey, we need to like hire more. We need to focus more on this spot. And that's just what you get through. You try and figure out the best way to do it, the best people to hire, the best agencies to work with, or even softwares to use. And, that's kind of the biggest thing, is just understanding which avenue is the best to go with for your business and your business model, because it could vary based on a lot of things. It just all kind of comes down to those type of things, and you have to look at the annoying stuff in your business. Like that, all that stuff sucks. Like it's not fun, it's not exciting. It's not like when you first started, when it's all like brand new and super exciting. Like it's annoying. Like you gotta get new customer retention rate and click-through rate and like CPC and all these stupid terms that it's like, bro, like I just want to like buy a Lambo, you know? like that's why you started. You really have to do those things if you want to make real money. Yeah, I just want to make this video because I think a lot of people struggle with this topic, and so do I. It's not for everybody. This is definitely for more of like this is more niche or niche. I don't know whatever you're supposed to say. Very much more specific to people who already started their business and are looking to scale. But you know, maybe even if you're a beginner and you're just trying to learn, this is the stuff that you're going to need to know. And you know, just coming from somebody that did it, and I'm around people that do it on a daily basis, and we're all young. Like the older business owners are cool, but like I always try to align myself with the younger companies and younger entrepreneurs, because we're the next generation. We're the next Elon Musk's, Bezos. You know, we're up next when we're 40 and 50, you know? Everyone in their young 20s or in their teens, like we're gonna be the ones driving the industries going forward. So, you know, I just wanna make sure that like I wanna connect with as many entrepreneurs in this space as possible that are around my age, because I think those connections are gonna be so powerful going forward. And I think our era of people can really make a massive difference if we, you know, start young, because we do have the advantages of technology to start young. Most other eras didn't be able to start their businesses till they're like 30, you know? I mean, like people could, but it's so easy now to start if you're 13 or 15 or like any high school, college. Like it's so much easier to start your business and actually learn, because you can learn everything online. Like you can listen to people like me or other people on the internet that are actually doing it and actually have real experience, rather than just reading it out of a book. And back then you would have to be in a college and then go to the library, pay for the book, and then read the whole thing, versus a 15-20 minute YouTube video that is real facts. Take advantage of the technology and the resources we have now, because that is huge going forward. And you know, I just want to be here for the next era of innovation. And you know, if you like this video, subscribe. I'm gonna post more videos all the time. I always said I wanted to be a YouTuber. I never thought I'd be making content like this. I thought it was gonna be like Mr. Beast, but hey, who knows? I might switch it up later. But yeah, I just hope this kind of inspires you. Maybe you learned something from it. Maybe you know somebody else that might be in this position. Send them this video. Maybe it'll help them out. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys later.